Hey guys, welcome back to Listography. Jason here with Kramzer.
What's up, everybody?
Today we're debuting a new segment here on the channel. We're calling this the Album Spotlight. This is going to be where we talk about some records that don't fit neatly into a band's discography, probably won't appear in any other videos on the channel, but records that we enjoy, that we want to shine a light on and talk a little bit about.
Oh, wow.
Before we get into today's record, I just want to thank everyone for watching. Remind you to like the videos if you like them, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so that you get notifications when we put out a new video.
Yeah, we're really trying to pump out as much content as we can. We got a lot of segment ideas, a big one coming out pretty soon that's going to last about a year. And so in order to do that, yeah, get those subscriptions going. We want to get you guys involved too, get some maybe audience polls going, get some more discussion going. We really just want to create the biggest music or rock community that we can here. And our goal, I think, is to eventually talk about every single artist that has ever existed. Will we get that far? I don't know, but that's our goal. We just want to overload with content, give it a little something for everybody. So today, the album that we're going to talk about is going to tackle two icons of rock music. Well, one icon and one super icon, really, of rock history. We're doing 1993's Coverdale Page. David Coverdale, I love, of Deep Purple and Whitesnake fame. And then you got Jimmy Page. What band was he in again? This is a really cool album that charted pretty well. There's no follow-up to it. I first heard this record in your car. We were going to a show. This is probably like 2004, 2005, and I've been in love with it ever since.
I do like it quite a bit. There are some little things with production and stuff that I think could be better, but I think this is probably the best display of Jimmy Page's guitar playing post Zeppelin breaking up.
Yeah, when I was reading about the reception to this album, my favorite thing was from RIP Magazine, or RIP Magazine, excuse me, where one of the writers said, Robert Plant is going to be pissed off when he hears this album.
Well, he was, and it created a bit of a feud that I don't know if it's even been resolved yet between Plant and Coverdale. Robert Plant called him David Cover Version.
I get it. But the thing I probably like most about this album is it's in almost no way trying to be Zeppelin. I think it's a nice balance between, kind of that Whitesnake sound and Zeppelin, probably a little bit closer to Whitesnake in the production, but, 20 seconds into it, you can tell that, exactly who's playing guitar on it. It's Jimmy Page. I really like a lot of the new tones that, this album kind of allows Jimmy to have. He's not going overboard, which I think you can say about his playing in Zeppelin, is even though he's this guitar god, he never runs away or overloads you with his guitar work. There's a lot of really cool plucks and thin string playing here, but then it gets really hard rock and heavy. Nice mix of like these metallic acoustic sounds with some heavy riffs kind of all over this record. For me, there's only one standout bad song on this, which is Take a Look at Yourself. I think that song is pretty bad, but everything else on it for me works really well, especially the first four songs. Awesome. You've got Shake My Tree, Waiting on You, Take Me for a Little While, Pride and Joy. Pride and Joy is really cool. Sounds like it could have been a cut from Zeppelin 3 a little bit. The middle of the album's a little weak for me, not bad, just weaker, and then it closes really well with Don't Leave Me This Way and Absolution Blues. Yeah, pretty good all the way through.
I agree. That's kind of how I hear it too, but there are a lot of people that feel like David Coverdale is basically doing a Robert Plant impression, and I can hear it in his upper register a little, but I mean, when he's singing in his lower register, he doesn't sound anything like Robert Plant. I think it's a little bit of an unfair criticism.
I would agree. And if I found myself jumping in on an album with Jimmy Page, how can you not help yourself but to try to emulate Plant a little bit? But I don't really see that either. I'm with you. He's got that classic Coverdale kind of raspy howl. I kind of hear this album. It came out in 93. And that said, I do think it sounds a little dated even for 93. It's probably more suited in like the 85 to 88 range as far as the overall kind of texture of the sound. It's got some occasional synth backing on it. It almost sounds like a bluesy Queensryche record to me at times. But there's a really nice blend of kind of that. What I'm trying to say is it doesn't seem like it's a Jimmy Page album that he's letting David Coverdale sing on. It is a full effort. It's well rounded. You know, the edges are trimmed up really nice. To me, the songs kind of birth from what sounds like it could just be, you know, guitar jam sessions, and then everything's kind of crafted around that. A good bit of the songs just start with Jimmy and David, just with a guitar riff and some melody on top, and then it kind of takes off. I don't want to ignore the rest of the studio musicians behind it. You got Denny Carmassi, who's a studio drummer. He's drummed for Kim Carnes, Stevie Nicks, Heart, 38 Special, Cinderella, and about 15 others. The drumming's not incredibly noticeable, but they did make sure that this was going to be a professional sounding record and not just a duet album. And I really think that that really works for it. One thing worth mentioning to me is that even though the guitar is the driving force behind this album, I don't think there's a lot of solo work, which is kind of surprising. There's just kind of a lot of really good lead playing, and there's just a lot of really good riffing. The guitars sound great, but like I said, there's a really good balance of it. Like, they made a point to make sure that this was a collaboration, even from the album cover. You know, it's a road sign of merging roads coming together. And one thing that personally for me, especially after we did the Van Halen albums video, I was thinking, you know, we talk a lot about how bad Van Halen 3 was and how he was not the right singer post Sammy Hagar. Man, Coverdale would have been awesome as someone who could have joined Van Halen. I don't really know what was going on, but I think that would have been a really good fit. I love David Coverdale. I don't like Deep Purple as much as you do. I know he's only on a few albums, but, you know, I love David Coverdale. He's one of my all-time great singers.
His time in Deep Purple, for me, is my favorite era of Deep Purple, probably. I think those albums are fantastic. Also interesting that you say that about Van Halen, because Mike Frazier, the guy that produced Coverdale Page, actually also produced Balance. You can hear the production similarities a bit, I guess.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that. You know, the thing I love about Coverdale is he's got this, you know, he's got like that classic machismo to him, but it's not it's not pushy at all. He's still kind of just this, you know, down to earth kind of bluesy singer. Even though, you know, other than some Deep Purple elements, he's never really been in a blues band. I guess what I'm trying to say is I've always wished that David Coverdale was in a better group than he's been allotted. And to me, this is as close as it gets. Again, I'm not huge on Deep Purple like you are. So without being pressed, this might be my favorite Coverdale performance.
The Deep Purple albums are awesome, and the early Whitesnake albums before they became a hair metal act are pretty awesome as well.
That's true. If I did have to, you know, off the top of my head, Burn is probably my favorite Deep Purple stuff. Do you think they should have followed up on this record? I don't really know the story behind it, but would it have been worth going down this road more?
Probably, yeah. I think the story is that he got back together with Plant. They did No Quarter. They toured. They did the Walking into Clarksdale album. I think that pretty much took up all of Jimmy Page's time. Yeah, totally different direction on Walking into Clarksdale. Not anything similar to the hard rock of this record. For better or worse, I don't know. I do like Walking into Clarksdale a bit. I haven't listened to it in ages, but that might be interesting to follow up and see if we prefer this or that.
We could check it out. And after this, I'm not really sure what Coverdale was up to after this. I think he got back together with Whitesnake eventually. And I only know that because I saw Whitesnake in like 2002 or whatever. Whitesnake is Whitesnake. I don't think they're that great of a band, but I don't really know their early stuff, mostly just the hair metal stuff, but you do vouch for the early work for Whitesnake.
Yeah, they had a totally different lineup, and they were more of a blues rock, sort of continuing the path of what he was doing with Deep Purple a little bit. So yeah, the next Whitesnake album after Coverdale Page was Restless Heart, which was in '97. But yeah, I think bottom line is this is a really good record that is maybe remembered for the wrong reasons. Probably most people think of it as the record that started a feud between Plant and Coverdale, when maybe they're not giving it its full due. Just a really good rock record, pretty straight ahead, no frills, good guitar playing, good singing, good songs.
Yeah, and really, you know, even though it's just two of them, as far as like kind of, you know, these big iconic mergers or super groups. I mean, there's only two of them, so it's not a super group, but this works really well, and there's not a lot of examples of super groups really working. Maybe one day we will do a list of our like dream super group. This is a pretty good frontman lead guitar setup, and it does kind of sound exactly how you would expect and want it to, and For me, it's really good from start to finish. And if you haven't heard this record, highly recommend it. You don't even really have to be a fan of Coverdale or Page. You can still check it out. It's just a really good hard rock record for its time in 1993.
Agreed. And I guess we'll leave it at that for now. Thanks again for watching, guys. And remember, hit the like button, subscribe, and we will see you soon with some different new content.